Sustained corporate growth is rarely just a byproduct of luck. Instead, it is the result of rigorous, systematic strategic planning. The primary objective is to conduct a review of the entire organization to map its direction over a horizon of 3 to 10 years. Without active intervention, a company follows its inadvertent strategy, the trajectory it is currently on by default. This is contrasted with a deliberate strategy, where management takes specific actions to ensure the firm remains viable in the long term. The strategic gap is the distance between that current reality and the intended goal for growth. To address this gap, a firm must understand its own internal architecture before deciding which market opportunities to pursue. In the 1980s, the positioning school of strategy argued that success came from finding a defensible spot within an external industry. Michael Porter became the leading figure for this approach, focusing on competitive scope and the choice between cost leadership or product differentiation. However, a profitable market position is difficult to maintain if a company lacks the underlying assets to defend it against rivals. By the 1990s, the focus shifted toward the resource-based view, or RBV. This framework argues that a sustainable advantage is built from the inside out, rather than by simply reacting to external market trends. Competition is not won solely by identifying a profitable segment. It requires deploying internal resources that rivals cannot easily replicate. These resources encompass financial capital, key physical assets, and intangible attributes. Strategic assets include market-based resources like organizational culture, patents, proprietary databases, and the collective know-how of the workforce. Theorist J. Barmy established specific criteria to determine if an internal resource can actually support a long-term advantage. The resource must be valuable to the consumer and rare within the industry. Most importantly, the resource must be imperfectly imitable. This leads to causal ambiguity. Because success stems from a complex network of interrelated assets, it is difficult for an outside competitor to identify and copy the specific source of the firm's advantage. A firm's unique internal capabilities serve as the engine for expansion. Without them, an attempt to enter a new market lacks a solid foundation. Once the internal resources are identified, management must determine how to deploy them. This is the Ansoff matrix, a framework used to plot the trajectory of corporate growth. The horizontal axis tracks product novelty, from existing offerings to entirely new products. The vertical axis tracks market novelty, from current customers to completely new segments. By plotting growth along these variables, a firm can visualize the specific risks associated with its next move. In the bottom left quadrant is market penetration. This involves selling more existing products to the current customer base. This is the lowest risk approach because the products and the customers are already established. Moving to the right leads to product development. Here, the firm uses its existing brand reputation to successfully introduce a new product to its current market. These strategies rely on utilizing known internal capabilities and deep market knowledge to maintain stability. The most challenging maneuver in the framework is diversification. This requires selling a new product into a completely new market, where the firm has the least experience. Horizontal diversification involves expanding into an adjacent market by building on current operational knowledge. Another option is vertical integration. This involves controlling more of the supply chain, from the production of inputs to the distribution of the final product. Diversification removes the safety net of existing markets. Success depends on whether the move is supported by a firm's rarest internal resources. The Ansoff matrix provides a map of growth directions, but the resource-based view dictates the actual choice. The map shows where a firm can go. Internal resources show where it should go. A culture centered on research naturally aligns with a product development strategy. Conversely, high-risk diversification often fails when a firm's internal capabilities are misaligned with the needs of the new market. This highlights why growth cannot be sustained through promotion alone if underlying organizational resources are lacking. Peter Drucker argued that the core duty of management is the rational assessment of a situation and the systematic allocation of resources to meet goals. Long-term success is the result of aligning a firm's specific internal capabilities with a deliberately chosen path of expansion.